Hello and welcome to another episode of Spectrum Drama, where we take a look at the hottest posts on Spectrum for the week and give our opinions on them. Okay, so before we get started, massive congratulations again to the winner of our competition. Walked away with that awesome grey cat and the game package, which is cool. And a big thank you to ASA once again for sponsoring us this month for the competition. You know, it means a lot to us and it means a lot to everyone else. You know, they get the opportunity to win some cool stuff. So yeah, thanks very much, Australis Space Alliance. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so first up we've got a post from The Batman Who Laughs, and it says, a busy father's plea to Chris Roberts to stop making all ships multiplayer focused. And basically the long and short of this is The Batman Who Laughs loves the game, but is a father, doesn't have a lot of time to play. You know, there's a lot of cool ships in the game and a lot of, you know, development going on for all of these ships, but it does feel like group play is becoming mandatory. And that is difficult for someone who cannot section out time to play with other people, you know, can only play on his own. So that's kind of the problem that, you know, Mr. Batman has. But I don't know. I've never really had a problem, really, because, you know, I suppose maybe because I don't have huge ships, but I've never had a real problem playing this solo. And it's really easy to find people to play with, I think, in this game. Do you have any ships where you literally can't fly them because you need another person?
Me personally, no, because I would probably never buy a ship like that.
Yeah.
You know, if we were, if the org was like quite big, then I might, you know, I would never pay real money for the big ships anyway, because I just wouldn't want to do that. But in game, you know, we'd probably look at getting some big ones, some proper multiplayer ships for the org when that's a thing. I mean, I kind of see his problem with it, because for people like him who don't have the time to try and arrange groups and stuff, they just want to jump in, do something on their own, and then get out again because they got other commitments. And that's fine. Yeah, I completely see where he's coming from. And there's going to be times where I'm just going to want to jump on, do a few bits, and then come off again, and not have to arrange a big meet-up with a couple of people. I mean, the game does kind of have that problem. You got profession ships like the Prospector that don't have much in the way of weaponry to defend itself with. So if you're trying to get those, you know, those big rocks with the big payload, then you're going to have friends with you that's, you know, providing an escort. But that's the way it is. But then there's going to be other areas where you can go and mine. You know, you're not going to get as much valuable resources, but you can still do it on your own in relatively safety. So maybe he just needs to kind of, I don't know, rethink his priorities in game.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. You just need to kind of refocus your efforts on what you're doing, you know, to play to your strengths as a solo player. I mean, there's some things here, you know, like the older single seat fighters losing their ability to scoop fuel and, you know, travel on their own and stuff. And I think the problem is that this is a multiplayer game. It was, you know, Squadron 42 is a single player game. Star Citizen, the universe, is a multiplayer game. It's always intended as a multiplayer game. It was designed to be played with multiple people. That's just the way it's made. Yeah. And I think the problem is that having a problem with that, with a game where its entire fundamental core is multiplayer, is a bit strange. But like you said, I see that point in that you're not always going to have the opportunity to jump on and play with your friends. We're quite fortunate and spoiled in a way that we can kind of just put a little shout out on our Discord and a bunch of people will normally turn up and, you know, have our back or whatever. So, you know, it is different, but I see the point. I think the thing that you need to understand as well is that further down the line, we're going to have things like AI blades where, you know, then you are going to have essentially AI that will watch your back. Kind of, you know, they're not going to fly around in other ships following you, but they're at least going to assist you in your own ship. And I think that it's a tricky one because this is a multiplayer game and you have to just kind of accept that. But yeah, like you said, I think it's just kind of maybe just need to rethink the way you play the game to make solo work for you.
Yeah, definitely. So the big problem with what he's requesting here, he's kind of basically asking for a ship that can do everything. Kind of. And that's never really going to work in Star Citizen. There needs to be certain, ships need, positives and negatives about that ship. It's really the only way you're going to kind of differentiate different ships and stop everyone using that one ship that can do everything on its own.
Yeah. You'll end up just with a sea of that one ship, because what's the point in working harder, in other ships, basically. The whole business model is made up of selling different ships, so of course they're going to make it as varied and certain ships fairly situational. It's just the way that they're going to make the game, and trying to pleading with them to ask to change that now is just not going to happen, unfortunately. No. And I mean, the other thing to think about as well is that this game was designed again as a multiplayer, but not just that. It's one of those games where if you need assistance with something, you can actually just ask people. I mean, there's a chat. Eventually there's going to be voice, so you could run around in Olisar going, please help, and you've even got the option to pay other people to do these jobs. So, it's getting more and more that way where, even if you haven't got friends, you'll always have someone around who is likely to either want to help you or need the money, basically. Cool. So next up, we've got a post from Damien Arbers, and it says, why did Gamestar and Newsweek readers find out about the ship before we did here on Spectrum? And if you don't know, this is pointing towards the Mantis ship that was, announced recently, and the fact that there was a Newsweek article that came out prior to the actual CIG release of the ship, almost, if you want the information in the ship. Prior to that, the frustration comes where we've got Spectrum, which is supposed to be the first place for Star Citizen information, and yet for some reason it seems to be the second and third place for information. A bit ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a bit ridiculous. We actually spoke about this, I think it was last week, with Captain Zaps. I can't even think about why this would happen unless there was kind of a breakdown in communication in CIG, or they just majorly fucked up.
Yeah. Fucked up. That's all I can think.
Yeah.
They must have. I mean, why you would undercut your core fan base to put out, I mean, not garbage, but to put out kind of to these kind of oily rags almost, this oily rag, that's a cigarette, isn't it?
Oily rag.
I fancy an oily rag. I don't know what I'm talking about. I need drugs. I'm not very well, people, so bear with me. I know what I'm trying to say, which is that, putting this information out to these kind of, other sources to undercut your main fan base, it just seems like there's no way they could have looked at that and gone, yeah, that seems sensible.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, let's do that. Said no one in CIG. Yeah, I don't know. They should have released stats before or at the same time, like we said in last week's Spectrum drama. They should have brought out the information at the same time that the Gamestar and Newsweek articles released, and then that would have caused all of this pitchforking going on.
Yeah. What's funny is, so there's a picture in the post, and it's actually a question put by someone called Hex Coder, and it says, why did Gamestar and Newsweek readers find out about the ship before we did here on Spectrum? And then you've got deleted by Synthwave, deleted by Synthwave, deleted by Synthwave, and then you've got one of the admins come on and says, while you're totally welcome to raise these types of questions on Spectrum, this Q&A is meant to be focused and it's meant to be focused. No, this guy can't write. Is meant to be focused and answer questions it's confusing. For the RSI Mantis explicitly, that broke my brain what he just wrote. Basically, that's them saying, we don't want to answer, shut up.
Basically, yeah. I mean, this was posted on the Q&A questions, I believe, and they said, you know, this kind of question isn't really relevant to the Q&A, but feel free to put it on Spectrum. So they did, and they still have not answered the question.
No, of course not. I have to do a little shout out here. Shout out to Synthwave. You are like a Spectrum Nazi. You've deleted a few of my posts, and you even moved a bunch of my posts because they were offending you. So, grr.
Okay.
There you go. I've now angered Spectrum. So please don't close my account. We need this for videos. Okay, so next up we've got a post from Jack Axton, and it says, so 890 jump versus Dragonfly, eh? The post basically says, yesterday I made this as a joke and it came true. It came true. It's this whole contest between the 890 jump and a Dragonfly, and it's crazy how many people love a good Dragonfly, me included.
Yeah, this is part of the ship face-off thing they're doing on the website at the moment, and for some reason the 890 went up against the Dragonfly. The more interesting thing is that the Dragonfly won the battle.
Yeah, absolutely mad. And I love the fact that they would put these two just vastly different things up against one another, but then the fact that the Dragonfly just smashed it. It really did. Yeah. Which is hilarious. So and I love the picture as well. If you look at the picture in the post, it is a picture of like a yacht versus some bike.
Yeah, that was the original picture that he put up, predicting that this might happen, and then it did, sort of thing. So it's quite funny, very well done, and go Dragonfly.
Go Dragonfly.
Another interesting thing is that the 890 jump leaving the competition, that kind of marked the end of Origin ships as the best, most voted ships in the competition. So there is no more Origin ships in there. Maybe that says something about Origin ships.
Yeah, I think the problem with Origin ships is they're very pretty, but they kind of lack a soul. I don't know how to describe it. Like, you get into a Cutlass or something and it just feels lived in and worn, and it's been around, whereas almost every Origin ship you get in and you feel like you don't want to touch anything in case you mark it somehow.
Yeah, I kind of liken it to getting inside an iPhone. It's kind of got that kind of lifeless thing going on. Don't touch anything. Yeah.
Just dead behind the eyes. So, dead behind the eye. It's foam. So no, I agree. I think Origin are they're just a little bit too pretty, not enough substance. Cool. So last up, we've got a post from The Jop, and it says, Star Marine, recreate Battlefield 2142. So I'll give you the rundown here. Set up 2 Idris, 1 on each side of the battlefield, a few kilometres from each other. Silivian. That's a new faction. That's one of them Slytherin ones. Yeah. Now, Expelliarmus. Shit. Right. Set up 2 Idris, 1 on each side of the battlefield, a few kilometres from each other. Civilian variant, no main guns. Add a colony on the ground. Add the ground vehicles as spawnable vehicles. Add a light and medium fighter as a spawnable fighter. Add a small troop transport like a Cutlass as well. Add anti-Idris guns on the ground the troops have to activate to fire on the opposing ship to take down its shields. And basically fight. Now, I'll be honest with you, I never played Battlefield 2142 and I didn't really understand this. I had to get Cryco to explain it to me. So, round 2, explain it for anyone who has no idea what Battlefield 2142 was.
It was just a game in the Battlefield series, but it was kind of futuristic. There was mechs and other tanks and crap like that. So what he's asking for here is a mode in Star Marine where we can attack each other's bases and try and take them down with vehicles flying around and tanks rolling around the ground, and kind of exactly what we've been talking about for the last 6 months about what they should do with Star Marine. This is exactly it. We want a big map with a few objectives on it, and some vehicles to kill each other and run each other over with.
Yeah, definitely. Give it some substance, because at the minute it is just a, team deathmatch, and I understand that that's just a work in progress, but yeah, man, that would really make this game. I mean, like you said, likening it to Star Wars that we've been playing recently, that's got such a good feel to it, going in and out of the different sort of zones to try and, take down a big capital ship or whatever, and it's just, very good idea.
Yeah, we can only hope that they do something like this. We know that, who was it? I've forgotten the guy's name now. Was it Sean Tracy? No. Yes, I think it was. Said that they're trying to the idea they're working with is to make scenarios. So there's a bunch of stories in Star Citizen lore of like battles and things, and then they want to kind of recreate those battles in Star Marine for us to play as a scenario. So I'm sure there's going to be a couple of big battles that they could recreate in there for us, something along the lines of this, and hopefully we see it at some point. Probably not for another 2 years though.
Yeah, probably. That would be really cool. I think that what we could probably do in the interim is create a very similar style of fight, but we would need a lot of people, we would need a stable server, and we would need some serious patience.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe one day. Maybe we'll put together an event which is mimicking this, just to make the Jop happy. If you're listening, the Jop, then let us know if you like that in the comments, and we'll keep our ear to the ground. We'll get in with our contacts and see if we can swing this with one of our orgs we know. Okay, so there you have it, folks. That's all the posts for this week. We hope you liked the posts. We hope you found them informative or amusing. If you did like them, then don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more Star Citizen content. And that's it. So thanks very much everyone for watching this week, and we will be back again next week with more Star Citizen shenanigans. Don't forget to check out our streams. We stream Mondays, Tuesdays and Thursdays 8 PM UK time. So if you can join us, all manner of games. Star Citizen Thursdays is always fun. So come and say hello. And that's it. We shall say goodbye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.